Hello everyone, this is my Module 5 Opposing Positions audio assignment. The topic of mass incarceration has been a heavily discussed issue due to its emotional, social, and even economic damage to our country, our communities, and even for those directly affected by it. It is a heavy topic that connects us back to the discrimination many people of color face within our justice systems, and continues to be debated over whether it's a system that keeps our public safe from crime or a system that continues to oppress a part of our communities. For that statement, we must ask, is mass incarceration beneficial or detrimental? For this discussion, we will examine two differentiated articles on the topic of mass incarceration and dive into the perspectives and the claims that support their stances. The first article we will examine is The Critical Needs to Teach Mass Incarceration by Benjamin Weber. Through his article, Weber dives into the topic of mass incarceration and its legacy, tying back to the historical root of racial oppression, even opening up his argument with the simplest of statements to back his perspective. Mass incarceration is the clearest afterlife of the slavery. He demands for a better framework of these policies/practices to not only reevaluate the systems our country lives under, but to also understand the history behind it. Weber uses this thesis of mass incarceration and its connection to the promote education for future learners to know about these justice systems and to challenge the idea behind it. Right off the bat, with Weber's statement of mass incarceration being the afterlife of slavery, his article's tone seems critical and urgent. To him, this matter is in desperate need to be addressed quickly because he recognizes the harm it has done within our society, but also considers its crucial global dimensions, referring to the U.S. influence as a model system that can impact our entire world. This claim, as well as his stance of mass incarceration connects to racialized punishment, is supported through historical, legal, and empirical evidence. He cites back to the re-enslaving of Black people during the convict leasing era, the loophole of a federal law, the 13th Amendment, that punishes crime with slavery and involuntary servitude, and the expansions of these practices from the Caribbean to the Pacific Oceans, all to serve his thesis and stand on a needed re-evaluation. And now we take a look at Charles Stimson's article, The Myth of Mass Incarceration. Through his article, Stimson argues that about the term mass incarceration being more misleading and misguiding the public to follow a negative ideology and what he sees as our country's facially neutral laws. He believes that mass incarceration misrepresents our judicial systems and demands to consider those hurt by the crimes that our systems are fighting to protect and bring justice. By also pointing out the lack of further statistics needed to protect this opposing side, Stimson stands the harm from what he sees as a myth can be done to our country. For starters, Stimson's tone throughout the article is assertively argumentative. He feels strongly about his stance and debunks his opposing side often, even attacking those defending his opposing side, such as describing Angela Davis, a political activist, as an enduring cop killer defender, and calling her views as radical. To support his stance, Stimson brings up the statistics of violent crimes that aren't met with that justice that is needed, the data of who makes the prison population and what are their offenses and sentences, and a decreasing of those populations over the years. He stands strong by looking at the numbers and the data to support his stance and deteriorating the myth of mass incarceration. Though both sides of the spectrum of mass incarceration contrast, there's two takeaways that we must acknowledge from this is their stance for what mass incarceration is and where should we be prioritizing the situations. Weber stands for reevaluation of our justice systems to protect our communities and the people, while Stimson stands for his belief on the overdrawn view on mass incarceration and to prioritize public safety. With this in mind, where should we stand? What will help us protect those around us and create a better future for our society?